Today on Community Cooking, we have guest chef Paolo Buffa here from 21 Square Bar and Kitchen in Torrance. And today, we're making graffiti cauliflower with caramelized shallots, golden raisins, shaved manchego, and andouille sausage. Plus, Asian protein bowl with quinoa, summer squash, mushrooms, and tofu. There's a whole lot going on today. We're cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. So grab a seat, get comfortable. We've got another great menu for you. This is your Community Cooking. Hello and welcome to Community Cooking. I am your host, Kirk Lyons. In our kitchen today is Chef Paolo Buffa from 21 Square Bar, Kitchen and Bar.
Kitchen and Bar.
And that is in the Torrance Marriott, Redondo Beach.
Yes, it is.
How are you, Chef?
Good, thank you.
Good to see you again. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
This is a man who has traveled the world, has traveled the United States, has cooked in a lot of big restaurants, right?
Everywhere in the U.S. Miami, Florida, Washington, D.C., New York City, and now for the 5th years in a row in California.
Beautiful.
And I love it.
Beautiful, right? Right? The weather, you got to, you know.
It's all about the weather sometimes. You're right.
Exactly. So now, you're not just the executive chef of 21 Square. You're the executive chef of the entire property.
The entire property. Yes,
wow.
indeed.
So that's a big job.
Yes, it is.
Tell me what that entails.
Well, basically, I ran the banquet kitchen, all the small outlet, the concierge lounge for our guests, and the restaurants and the cafeteria, and I supervise also the little cafe outside.
So if you go to the Torrance Marriott and you eat,
yeah,
you have your name on that food.
My name is everywhere.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, you've brought another really, what did you refer to as locally sourced, globally inspired?
Locally sourced and globally inspired.
I love that. I love that. And this is a dish that, gosh, this could serve as a side dish, but could also serve as sort of an appetizer or a small plate.
Sort of like an appetizer of what we would call a tapas, you know, in Spain. Absolutely, you know, shareable. You know, that's where it goes. It's very trendy these days. You know?
And graffiti cauliflower, talk to me about that.
Well, these are amazing. This is a fairly new breed of cauliflower here in California, totally organic. And the graffiti, because they have three amazing color. The yellow, beautiful yellow.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah,
purple.
Look at this.
Yeah,
nice.
That's beautiful.
And our classic cauliflower.
Right.
And then melt together, sauteing together, you know, they become graffiti cauliflower.
Great. All right, and what are some of the other ingredients we're going to use in this dish here?
All right, so the main ingredient besides the cauliflower, I have some shallots that we're going to caramelize with the cauliflower, the andouille sausage, golden raisin. The golden raisin are previously soaked in apple juice. That's
interesting because you see people plump these up by soaking them in water usually, or sometimes if it's in a dessert, maybe a liqueur or a booze.
A liqueur, absolutely.
But apple juice, just kind of just adding to that sweetness.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And then my final components are going to be the shaved manchego cheese from Spain. That's why I was referring to the tapas,
right?
You know?
Okay.
And for the color and for the taste, the final taste, pomegranate
and that little crunch too, that
absolutely.
Little crack. Yeah, that's great.
We love that.
All right, let's get started. Where do we begin?
Excellent. The first thing we need to do, we need to previously cook down on a saute the cauliflower with olive oil.
But you used probably just a little bit of olive oil in that pan
not
when you
too
did
much.
That, right?
We don't like to use too much.
That's how you got that color on it.
Yeah, you char them. Basically, this is a charring technique, you know.
So the pan wasn't dry. It had a little bit of olive oil,
but
just a scant amount.
Just, very much. And then when you have this beautiful color and the cauliflower, I want to say nice and crunchy, but not cooked yet.
Al dente.
Nice al dente. I love it. You know, al dente. And then you add another little extra virgin olive oil, and that's when you add your sliced shallots.
Right.
Because if you would have put the shallots ahead of time, the shallot would have been burnt, and the cauliflower.
Or it would have given off water, and then the cauliflower is never going to char.
Wouldn't be charred again, you know. That's why you got to do everything separately. And then, you know, you start gently mixing, but without removing the skillet from the fire. Never do that. You know, I know you see all the chefs that go like this, you know.
Oh, right. Right.
We're going to keep it over here where it belongs.
Yeah, and you're not burning anything there. There's no reason to be moving that pan.
No reason to moving so quick, you know.
Let
because something that you shouldn't do at home, you know, going like this. Keep it on the fire.
Unless you know what you're doing, there's a definite motion that has to be learned, or else you're going to wind
Oh
up
yeah,
with
no,
food
the
all over your
motion
floor.
Yes,
right.
you're right. Yeah, that for a couple of minutes. You know, I just want also the
Did you
the
season
shallots.
that at all with salt and pepper?
You know, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. I haven't done anything yet because I want to keep that to the end. And the reason is because the manchego, it's salty, and the andouille will release some of the salt. So
well.
again, remember, it's very easy to oversalt an item, but you can't go back to the recipe.
That's
so
right.
always do it at the end,
Right.
especially when you cook vegetables.
You can add, but you cannot subtract.
No, you cannot.
Doesn't work.
You know?
And we can see those shallots are starting to
See,
wilt
they're
down a
starting
little bit.
Exactly, and getting a nice color.
Yeah, this is going to be a gorgeous little plate here. I can see where it's
Absolutely.
coming together.
You know, at this point, you know, when is the shallots is almost cooked, you know, you want to add the andouille sausage, you know.
Now, andouille is a sausage that comes from Louisiana. It's a Cajun sausage, but it's basically it's taken from a French sort of garlic pork sausage.
That's what
but
it
it's
is.
a little bit more spiced. It's more intricately
It's a little bit more
spiced.
spicy, you know, because you get you and also, believe it or not, there's a company here in California that produces the best andouille sausage. So this is actually made in California. That's when I was referring, you know, locally sourced and globally inspired again.
Right.
You know.
That's nice. I mean,
ideas come from all over the world, but then you are using local provision.
It's so important, right? I mean, it's like I think as a restaurateur, as someone who's expecting to be supported by their community,
yes,
you have to give that support back.
Yes.
And the way the best way a chef can do that is buy the food that's grown in your backyard.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yep.
You know, and then also too, that's benefiting the chef because you're getting something that's not traveling from out of state.
And it's right there. Yeah.
It's right there. It's going to be as fresh as it can be.
Very much. Very well said, you know. I add a little bit of fresh pepper just to enhance the cauliflower flavor, and at this point, you will have your raisin. Because, see, the sausage is already nice and caramelized.
Starting to caramelize around the edges.
Exactly. Now it's time to
And
add.
we don't want to hammer those sausages. We don't want to hammer that cauliflower.
You see, with the temperature going up.
And I love the idea of golden raisins. And very Italian too, right?
Very
golden
much
raisins.
from the south of Italy. From Sicily, that's
you
where
find
the golden
raisins in some people's caponata.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, the caponata, absolutely.
Sicilians will put raisins in meatballs, in polpetti.
And the pasta too.
And the pasta as well.
The pasta with the sardines, they use the golden raisin.
I love that.
Perfect.
And immediately they started picking up the color from that sausage
right away. That's why it's very important to soak the raisin in the apple juice. You know, you can do it like 3-4 hours before.
This is such a sustainable dish right here.
Very much.
You can make this. You can make this on a weeknight. You can make this on a weekend. You could eat this once a week, and it is going to be good. You could change up the vegetable in there. You could change up the sausage. You could use.
Yeah, or you don't put a sausage, and it becomes a totally a vegan dish.
Sure.
The most important thing that you use as a base the extra virgin olive oil.
Right.
You know, a good California olive oil. And that's it. The dish is pretty much ready right now. Now we're going to remove it from the fire, plate it.
So we're done?
And then we're going to shave the manchego and finish it with the pomegranate grain.
Beautiful. Here's your microplane, sir.
Thank you very much. And then we shall plate this, you know.
And you got those beautiful little like gratin dishes there. That's nice. I like that. Something you would normally serve like maybe a creme brulee or...
Exactly. We loved it, you know.
That's
Again,
great.
you know, we were talking about making a tapa style, you know, plate, and that's exactly what we're doing.
And for those unfamiliar, tapas it's a Spanish way of eating. It's small plates, and very popular now to do small plates in restaurants. I think what's nice is people get to sample a lot more food, and I think that it's a better price point for both the restaurateur and the customer. You know, we can have a pricier dish and not pay quite as much because we're getting a smaller plate.
That's it, you know.
All right.
The dish is pretty much ready. Now we're going to move it over here and we're going to finish it. First thing first, we're going to add a little bit of the manchego.
Another Spanish cheese.
Easy. Another Spanish cheese. The sheep cheese, you know, not the whole milk.
Right.
It's not cow milk. And that's why they're all flavor, see?
Gorgeous.
Gently amount, do not exaggerate.
So you're going to get that little, the sheepiness of that cheese.
Yeah, and you want to do that right after you plate the cauliflower, so the heat will kind of melt down the cheese a little bit.
Barely melted.
Barely enough.
Barely melted.
Yeah.
It's just sweating it.
Exactly. And now the final component for color and
lovely
love. Little bit of love here. And that it is.
That is awesome. All right.
Look at that. The dish is perfect.
First dish done. Tell you what, let's get all cleaned up here. We're gonna come back and you're gonna make us an Asian protein bowl.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Do not go away. We will be right back.
Hey guys, I'm Joel Gammon, National Chef of Sur La Table and host of Scraps Parts Uneaten on A&E and FYI. And this week on My Cooking Scrappy, I'm going to show you how to prep mac and cheese rinds. The key to this perfect meal prep recipe is using cheese rinds and cooking them in the water with the pasta. This packs a deep umami flavor right into the noodles. Once the noodles are cooked, start adding the shredded cheddar cheese and butter. Adding cream cheese makes it super creamy and rich. This mac and cheese is knee-buckling. Really easy to portion this one out too. 2 cups is a good serving size. 1 cup if you're doing it as a side. Top it with a little paprika for a smoky note, and you're gonna be the envy of the lunchroom with this one. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us on Meal Prep University this week. And don't forget to check out Scraps on A&E and FYI. And check out more recipes, tips, and tricks at SaveTheFood.com.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. I am in the kitchen with Chef Paolo Buffa. He is from 21 Square Kitchen and Bar, which is in the Torrance Marriott, Redondo Beach. And you just prepared for us a delicious looking graffiti cauliflower. A nice small little tapas with, it had manchego cheese, it has some golden raisins, some andouille sausage. Just beautiful. I can't wait to eat that at the end.
Absolutely.
But now we're gonna make a little departure here.
Yes, we are.
This is or globally inspired, locally sourced. We're sticking with that theme. So now we're sort of doing something Asian.
It's something Asian inspired, But instead of using the rice, we're going to use a very trendy ingredient, a very trendy protein ingredient, which is the white organic quinoa.
Quinoa,
Absolutely.
which is much better for you, pretty much, than rice, because it's more than just a carbohydrate. It's actually a protein, too.
Yes, it is.
And protein bowls, I mean, they're trendy, right?
They're trendy. Protein bowls are, you can eat it for lunch, for dinner. You can cook it at dinner and bring it the next day to work, just warm it up again. When you're at work,
I think there's something also kind of nice about being able to have that meal in one bowl.
Yes.
Where it's like I don't have to have all these different, plates or different. It's all there. It's all there, and then it's also healthy too.
Very
and filling
healthy.
And satisfying and all that good stuff.
Yep.
All right. So tell us what goes into this Asian.
All right. Some basics. I like to start always with an onion. We talked about that before. I have some local squash that include a butternut squash, a corn squash, and kabocha.
Kabocha. Okay.
Kabocha also. And then I have my blend of zucchini yellow squash. I have shiitake mushroom and maitake mushroom. All locally sourced, all from California.
And some Asian ingredients in here. I mean, both the shiitake and the maitake found in a lot of Japanese cooking.
Very much.
And then the kabocha squash. If you're not familiar, you probably have experienced this. So if you've ever had tempura, like a mixed tempura with vegetables, there's usually the orange.
The orange one.
Half moon with the little green rind around it. That's kabocha.
That's a kabocha. And all found in California. Those are all ingredients from locally sourced.
Great.
Right. So we're going to start by, obviously, we're going to start with a little bit of onion.
Sauteing our onions.
Oh, yes, a little bit of onion.
You use a very sort of one thing that I've noticed about your cooking, you don't overdo any one ingredient. Like you've sort of prepped all of your mise en place here, but you're not even using all of it. A lot of times you see people come in and it's all going in, going in. No. But this is actually, I mean, I think what you're doing here is creating something where it's you're not gilding the lily. Nothing's overdone here.
Nothing is overdone, nothing. The right amount of quantity, because this is a little saute.
And then also, too, you get a real saute. You're not overcrowding that pan.
No, you're not. Otherwise, you can't have the same cooking effect in every single vegetable. If you put too much vegetable, the one on the bottom will be cooking. The one on top, they're just Releasing water.
Releasing
and
water.
they get soggy. Here, we do have to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Because the vegetables don't have a lot of natural salt in it. They're sweet, especially the ones that are locally organic and sourced, okay?
It looks gorgeous already. I mean, I love the color scheme.
And then my favorite thing, the mushroom blend with the scallions,
And of course, those mushrooms are going to cook down a little bit because
Yes.
they have a lot of water in them.
They have a lot of water. And that's why it's important to cook at a very high temperature, medium-high fire, And then again, by having a few ingredients on the saute pan,
Right.
you're able to cook everything uniformly. You're not going to lose the sear, and then the water of each vegetable will evaporate right away.
Listen, and if you love what he's making here, look no further than the Torrance Farmers Market in terms of getting these ingredients. All of these are there.
They are over there,
And
yeah.
some very, very fine versions of it.
Very nice, The market is actually every Tuesday and every Saturday.
Yes, and it is a great market.
Yeah, the
it is
Wilson
a
Park.
really good farmers market.
Absolutely. All right. In the meantime, we have our another Teflon saute.
Okay.
The meantime, yes, nice and hot. Again, just a little tiny drop of oil, like this. Yeah, just like that.
That's a
Not
tiny
too
drop.
much. That's a tiny bit. Because we want
It's a non-stick anyway. I mean,
It's
you're not gonna
non-stick,
get any-
but then,
But you still want it for the contact, so
yeah,
that it
for
gets
the
an
contact.
even contact.
And then
right.
you add the tofu. You want to hard sear the tofu.
And if you notice how he put that in, he laid it on its side and then pushed it away from him. Because if you do it the other way around, that's how you get splattered with grease.
That's how you get splattered, And you want to always do it away from the fire. Because if you're cooking home and you have real fire, when you put something next to it,
Right.
catches
Right.
on fire.
That's right.
You don't want that. So here, nice, the flame, this is cooking, a couple of, I would say another minute, and then we're going to add the quinoa. One of the reasons also, to not to use too many ingredients, it's a dish that you can do for one person at a time, or two at max if you use a larger saute. Because the next ingredient that we're going to add is actually the quinoa. The quinoa is being partially boiled, for like 10 minutes with salt and a few drops of lemon juice.
Nice. Just
right.
to sort of take away a little bit of its natural bitterness.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And then you need to add it. But the secret of the quinoa, you need to pop the quinoa. In order for you to pop the quinoa, the saute needs to be hot, and there needs to be enough space for the quinoa to travel in between all the vegetables, just like so.
And by popping, you mean you're like toasting it.
Toasting it. You're toasting the quinoa, and that's when you need to mix it, And you can lower the fire a little bit, remove it,
Right.
kind of like this, you see.
Because you don't have a lot of oil in there.
No,
so
you
right
don't.
now you really are fighting the starches in there from
Exactly.
sticking.
You
But
can always, but you see, you just have to mix it. But the quinoa is absorbing all the good flavor of the mushroom and the zucchini and the yellow squash right now,
Right.
And just like that, in and out of the fire, in a few seconds. This is the time. Let's check our tofu.
Here.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Look at the nice color. This is what you
Yeah.
want to see.
And what's nice when tofu sears like that, you get this really nice textural element on the outside of it, almost like a little bit of a leathery skin to it.
Very much,
And
that's
I know that
right.
doesn't sound delicious, but it actually is. It's a really nice textural element that I
But that's what it is, yeah.
helps it really now starts taking on some qualities of meat.
Yeah. Now, our protein bowl is ready, the first one, So we're going to shut the fire and leave it over there for a couple of more seconds just to finish dry, You don't want the quinoa to be too wet. That's exactly what we're doing. This part on the bottom is actually the best part.
It's almost like the socorat from not risotto, from paella.
For the paella, the bottom part is always the best. You're looking for that crunchiness, crispiness, and that's all the quinoa. The quinoa needs to be puffed, almost like when you see, it puffs and it wants to jump out of the saute. That's when you know the dish is ready.
You see that technique in a lot of sort of rice dishes from around the world.
Yes.
We mentioned the paella, but then also the tahdig from Iran, the Persian rice dish.
The
where
Persian
it's
rice,
that nice sort of crispy
Yes.
bottom, delicious.
Absolutely. Now, I think we are ready to plate. We're going to plate our protein bowl. Let's make one. Okay, this is ready at this point, you know. You see, I didn't play too much with the shape. 1, 2. It's 2 minutes on each side, you know. It doesn't have to move around, no. If you want a nice uniform sear, all you need to do is not to remove the tofu from the spot that you put in the first place. So just leave it like that.
It needs
Don't
to do
add
its thing.
anything. It needs to do its thing, you know.
Right,
you know.
okay.
And right here, that's it. These guys are ready, you know. And then we're gonna sort of plate it a little bit.
What a delicious meal.
You see that? You know? None of the vegetables are overcooked.
No.
You know, because what I like to do, I like to preserve actually the natural color of the vegetables.
Yeah, and it's so important because you've got the green, you got the yellow, you have the orange.
Yes, you know, especially look at the orange, you know, look at the kabocha squash, just doing its thing right now, okay? And this is the best part of the quinoa.
It's great.
Scrape the pan, and then on top, right there.
And
Voila.
And then what are you going to do with your tofu? Are you going to slice that up?
You know, the tofu, you're going to cut them in 2 pieces, and then you're going to place it right on top of the protein bowl, you know. Move it over here with the knife. Just make sure it's perfect, yeah. It is perfect. Oh, just for the information, the tofu needs to be the firm one. You know, there are different types of extra firm. You know,
Okay.
It's always better.
Yeah, that is important. Because if you
Very
get silken
important.
tofu, this is not going to work.
No, it's not gonna work. You know. Then clearly, you know, I like to
On a diagonal.
easy on a diagonal.
So you don't
and
rip
then
it.
you don't rip it. You know, starting from one side, then going down. You know, and then you can use your hand and can gently place in the tofu.
Was this soy sauce you have over here?
Oh, this is my final touch. This is the citrus panzu.
Oh, it's Panzu.
It's Panzu sauce, you know, that I add a little bit of yuzu, which is the concentration of the Japanese lemon.
Yeah.
You know, with the
Which
soy
is
sauce
so
and everything.
delicious.
Unbelievable.
I
But
love
that's
it.
why you didn't see me putting too much salt on it, because the Panzu is already salty.
Yes.
So what you want to do, you know, you kind of want to finish your dish with a little bit of citrus Panzu. Not regular soy sauce. It
No.
wouldn't work. You know, it's too salty. And
just only one note. It's
Yeah.
one note. Panzu, you've got the citrus, the acid, and you've got the
everything
salt.
you can possibly need. You know,
So this is ready to go.
this is ready to go.
All right.
If you want to be more fancy and creative, we're gonna chiffonade some of the scallions. You know, sideways.
Cutting it on the diagonal so it's a
down
much
in
prettier
diagonal,
cut than
a much
straight
prettier
across.
cut, you know, right on top of your tofu.
Oh, come on. Who's not going to eat this?
You know?
That is amazing. Chef. All right. Well, I tell you what, let's take a break.
Yes.
We'll get cleaned up here, and then I'm going to sample these 2 dishes on the
Very
other
well.
side. All right. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Joel Gammon, National Chef for Sur La Table, and this week's Meal Prep University Cooking Scrappy, it's all about fridge soup. Never throw away leftover veggies again. You can use them all up in a perfect meal prep recipe. Just roughly chop up all the veggies you've got, add some chicken bouillon, and top it with water to bring to a simmer. After about 30 minutes, add some cream and emulsify. This soup is a perfect way to clean out the fridge and make several meals at once. Portion out the soup into containers, about 1.5 cups to 2 cups each, and top with some chopped chive. You've got a week's worth of food ready to go. Hey, thanks so much for joining me this week. Make sure to check out my show, Scraps, on FYI and A&E.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. I am in the kitchen here with Chef Paolo Buffa from 21 Square Kitchen and Bar at the Torrance Marriott. And we've got a couple of really, I mean, this is so beautiful. I mean, both of these dishes, I love them. I like the size of them. I like the color. This is something that would be so easy to. I mean, neither of them were all that difficult to make.
No,
really,
not
I mean,
at all.
pretty simple preparations, but I think a lot of bang for your buck here.
Yes.
It's really, really awesome. So I'm going to dig in. I'm going to start here with our first dish, which was the Graffiti Cauliflower, and I'm going to attempt here to get a little bit of everything all on the same bite. I want some of the raisins, I want some of that, I want some of the sausage.
And the cauliflower.
And the cauliflower. I don't know if I got sausage, but you know what? One second. very interesting. The cauliflower picked up the pork flavor.
Yes, indeed.
The first bite did not have any sausage in it, but it tasted like it did. So it really permeated, and the brightness that the pomegranate brings and the sweetness. That was a really nicely composed dish.
Thank you.
Really, really balanced in flavor. I love that. And then you get that salty bite of the cheese at the end.
Of course, you know, how the manchego.
That is lovely. Wow. A dish that can go alongside almost anything.
Yes.
You can serve that with a steak. You could serve that with fish. You could serve that with almost anything.
Or by itself as an appetizer or a tapas.
Or a bunch of other little plates this size, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, just like
That's the
tapas. All right, now, here we've got our Asian bowl. Quinoa, an assortment of squash. We've got zucchini. We've got some aromatics in there. We have our seared tofu and Panzu.
And the Panzu.
All right. I'm going to go into this first.
On the quinoa.
And the mushrooms. Can't forget about the mushrooms.
Yep. Shiitake and maitake.
Oh, my goodness. And boy, did they give off their flavor, those mushrooms, to this quinoa.
To the quinoa.
Now, quinoa has a little bit of a taste to it. And it's a nuttiness, a little bit of bitterness. Not at all.
Not at all, because
Not
we
at
puff
all.
it, you know.
Actually, it's pure umami. It's pure umami, and it's because of those mushrooms. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
And I like the Panzu on there, too. Let me try your tofu real quick here. Excuse the fingers. Let's see. That's nice. That's nice. Nice bite and absolute like contrast texturally with that searing on the outside like that. That is really delicious. That is a perfect lunch, a really nice healthy dinner.
Yes.
Once again, very sustainable, something that you can eat all year round.
Yes, indeed.
Chef, you're awesome.
Thank you very much, my friend.
You're a keeper. You're a keeper, right?
Thank you.
Promise me we do this again?
Yes, I will. I promise.
Okay, because we're going to hold you to that.
Thank you.
And you just got to keep bringing us great dishes because
Will
you've
do.
knocked it out of the park every time.
Thank you very much.
All right. This just goes to show you we really are cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. On behalf of myself, Chef Paolo, everyone here at Community Cooking, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Ah, great. So good.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget, you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/torrancecitykable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.